Imagine walking into any meeting, maybe a conversation or even an exam, just feeling totally clear, completely confident.
Yeah, knowing your mind is like this finely tuned machine. It stores what you want, retrieves it when you need it.
Remembering names, facts, ideas, entire conversations
Right.
effortlessly. I mean, most people would call that a superpower, right?
Totally. And, you know, for good reason, we've sort of been told forever that memory is just something you're born with. You've either got a good one or a bad one. But William Walker Atkinson, whose classic book, Memory, How to Develop, Train, and Use It, we're diving into today, he really pushes back on that fixed idea.
Absolutely. And that's what this deep dive's all about.
Yeah.
It's your shortcut to understanding that memory isn't some magical power you're born with.
Right.
It's a skill. And, well, like any skill, playing guitar, learning a language, it can be trained, it can be strengthened, and, yeah, mastered.
Exactly. We're going to unpack this century-old blueprint that, mental masters, ancient scholars, even modern geniuses have used. It's all about harnessing the real power of memory.
So get ready, because by the end of this, you'll have, hopefully, some really practical tools to transform your brain, boost your focus, and kind of awaken that powerful memory that's already inside you.
It's about unlocking potential, really, not just wishing you had something else.
Okay, let's dive in. Atkinson starts off by saying, memory is the foundation of all learning, all knowledge, and all progress.
And when you really stop and think about that, it's profound. He's spot on.
Yeah.
Without memory, life would just be, well, he says, an endless cycle of beginning without continuation. Everything you know, everything you've experienced, it all hinges on memory.
What's so groundbreaking about his view, especially for his time, is this idea that memory is a skill, not some fixed gift.
Yes, that's the key shift.
He uses this fantastic analogy, feels really modern, actually. He says, just as muscles grow stronger with exercise, so does memory with proper training and use.
That's the aha moment, isn't it? It just completely changes the game. It means memory isn't some exclusive club. The power is actually in our hands.
It's such a liberating thought. It shifts you from thinking, I wasn't born with a good memory, to asking, okay, how do I train the memory I have?
Exactly. And Atkinson breaks it down really clearly into 3 basic stages. First up is retention.
Retention, like holding on to it.
Yeah, the mind's ability to store impressions. Think of like pressing a seal into wax.
Yeah.
It leaves that initial mark.
Okay, makes sense. Stage 1, get the impression in there. What's next?
Then comes recollection. This is the active part, the digging out of those impressions when you need them. You're consciously searching your mental library.
Right, pulling the specific book off the shelf.
Precisely. And the third stage is recognition. This is more spontaneous, that flash of familiarity.
Like when you see someone and know you know them, even if the name isn't right there yet.
Exactly that. You recognize the connection to something you've retained. You know you've seen that book before, even if you can't immediately recall all the details.
So, if that's how it works, the big question is, why do we forget things? Where does it break down?
Well, Atkinson's insight here is really interesting. He argues forgetting isn't usually a failure of the memory system itself. He says it's often a sign of weak impressions or lack of focused attention at the moment of learning. Basically, the mind can't recall what it never properly received.
Like trying to remember details from a blurry photo. The information just wasn't captured clearly enough.
Yeah.
Puts the focus back on that initial stage.
Exactly right. And he uses this brilliant metaphor. Imagine the mind as a great library where every thought, every image, every experience is a book placed on a shelf.
I like that.
So training your memory isn't about getting a bigger library. It's about organizing that library, labeling every book clearly, storing it where it can be easily accessed.
And making retrieval smooth. So it's about organization, not just capacity.
Precisely. It shifts the focus from just cramming more in to managing what's there effectively.
So what's the takeaway for us, for you listening? Atkinson really pushes us to change our self-talk. Stop saying, oh, I have a bad memory, or I'm just forgetful. Instead, start asking, okay, how can I improve it?
And that question, he says, opens a door to transformation. It puts you in the driver's seat. You become the architect, not the victim.
Taking agency, I like that.
And that transformation really starts with understanding and using what Atkinson calls the core pillars of memory. The first one, and arguably the most vital, attention.
Attention.
He's super clear on this. You cannot remember what you do not first observe. He believes most forgetfulness is really just an attention problem, not a memory problem.
He defines attention as this active thing, right? Mental focus, bringing your full consciousness to a subject, directing your energy.
Yeah, he even calls it the watchman at the gate of the mind. Nothing gets properly stored unless it passes that watchman.
It's like trying to fill a leaky bucket, isn't it? If you're not paying attention, the information just slips away before it's even really in.
Exactly. And this leads to his law of impression. The deeper the original impression, the easier the recall.
Deeper impression, easier recall. Makes sense. Like carving into stone versus just sketching on sand.
Right. Focused attention acts like that chisel, leaving a deep, lasting mark. Makes recall much easier later on.
So how do we train this attention muscle?
Atkinson suggests something surprisingly simple but effective. Take an ordinary object like a pencil or a flower or whatever and just observe it. Really observe it intently for maybe 5 minutes. Try not to let your thoughts drift.
5 minutes on just a pencil. Sounds challenging.
It is. But he says, this practice may seem trivial, but it is a powerful way to develop mental steadiness. He also warns against multitasking.
The enemy of focus.
Big time. He insists true productivity and sharp memory come from doing one thing at a time with full attention. Hard advice in today's world, but probably true.
And he connects attention to interest too, right?
Yes, absolutely. The mind naturally pays attention to what it finds interesting. So if you want to remember something better, you need to learn to generate interest.
How do you do that?
You consciously link the new information to your own goals, your values, your curiosity. Find a reason for you to care about it, and your attention will naturally sharpen.
Okay, so pillar 1 is attention the gatekeeper. What's pillar 2?
Pillar 2 builds right on that, association. Atkinson sees memory as this huge web of interconnected thoughts, sensations, and experiences.
A web?
Yeah, and association is the glue that binds thoughts together. The more connections you make to a piece of information, the stronger that memory becomes. It has more anchors.
So it's not just about the single thread, but how many other threads connect to it.
Exactly. He talks about different kinds of links, similarity, contrast. But the most powerful is usually contiguity, things that occurred together in time or space.
Like how smelling something can instantly take you back to a specific place or time.
Precisely. Your high school classroom smell bringing back memories of friends, that's contiguity.
The real power move here seems to be deliberate linking, though. Actively connecting new info to what you already know.
Yes. Don't just try to remember something in isolation. Link it. So if you meet someone named Baker...
You picture them wearing a baker's hat or maybe holding a loaf of bread.
Exactly. Make it vivid, maybe even a little weird. Atkinson says the brain favors novelty and emotion. Use that.
Okay, what about lists? People always struggle with lists.
His trick is the mental story. Say your list is apple, pen, airplane, mountain. Don't just repeat it.
Create a story.
Hey!
Like, a giant apple got stabbed by a pen, then it grew wings like an airplane and flew over a mountain.
Perfect. The absurdity, he says, actually helps lock it in. Your brain pays attention to things that are unusual or funny. That's the basis of many mnemonic techniques.
He also mentioned something important. Avoid negative associations.
Crucial point. If you always link studying a certain subject with boredom or stress...
Your brain will actually fight remembering it.
Right. So you need to consciously create positive, maybe even playful associations with learning. Make it enjoyable, not a chore.
Okay, attention association. Yeah. What's the third pillar?
The third pillar is visualization. This one often feels like the most direct memory trick.
Thinking in pictures.
Exactly. Atkinson states, and modern science agrees, the human mind is far more likely to remember images than abstract words or isolated facts. We are visual creatures.
So visualization is about deliberately creating clear, vivid mental images of what you want to remember.
Yes, and the key is vivid. Don't just make a static picture. Animate it. Add movement, sound, color, and even emotion.
So if I'm trying to remember points for a speech...
Don't just see the words. See yourself delivering it with confidence. Feel the audience's energy. Hear your own voice carrying clearly. Make it a multi-sensory movie in your mind.
That makes sense for concrete things. But what about abstract ideas, like scientific facts?
Great question. He suggests symbolic visualization. Convert the abstract into a concrete symbol. His example. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius.
How do you visualize that?
Maybe imagine a giant thermometer exploding into steam the moment it hits 100. Make it dramatic, even absurd. The absurd is memorable.
Or the Mr. Fox example, if you need to remember the name. You literally visualize him with, like, fox ears.
Exactly. You're translating the abstract word fox into a concrete, slightly weird image. You combine it with association.
How do you practice this?
It's simple, really. Close your eyes, pick a familiar object, a key, a cup, and just try to picture it clearly in your mind. Hold the image steady. And Atkinson stresses when to do this. Use visualization immediately after learning something new. Let that image sink in, like ink drying on a page, before it gets smudged.
Makes sense. Lock it in visually right away.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 3 pillars. What's the fourth?
The fourth pillar ties it all together: repetition and review. Atkinson says repetition does not just refresh memory, it strengthens it, fortifies it.
But not just mindless drilling, right? Like writing lines over and over.
No, definitely not. It has to be meaningful review. And timing matters. He says the first repetition is the most powerful when it occurred shortly after the initial learning.
Soon after.
And he actually outlines a kind of spaced repetition system, which sounds incredibly current. Review after 10 minutes, again after a few hours, once more the next day, then again in a few days, and once more a week later.
Wow, that's specific, like building up layers.
Exactly. He calls each repetition a layer of varnish, making the memory tougher, more resistant to fading.
And it needs to be active repetition.
Absolutely. Engage your thinking, feeling, and visualizing while you review. He loves mental recitation, closing the book, putting away the notes, and recalling it in your own words.
That struggle to pull it out of your own head.
That struggle is itself a form of reinforcement. It's the mental effort that builds the strength.
He also suggests varying the review method.
Yeah, don't just reread. Read it, write it, speak it, visualize it, teach to someone else. Engaging different parts of your brain makes the memory more robust.
And you mentioned something about reviewing before sleep.
Yes, night review. He believed the final moments before sleep have a powerful effect on memory retention. He saw the subconscious mind as a silent assistant working during sleep to consolidate memories.
Fascinating. So beyond these 4 pillars, attention, association, visualization, repetition, he gets into more advanced stuff.
He does. He talks a lot about the subconscious mind. He believed it records everything, even things your conscious mind misses.
So the information might actually be in there somewhere.
Often, yes. He felt memory is often not a question of forgetting, but of failing to recall. We just can't access it easily.
So how do we tap into that?
He says it's about learning to relax, trust, and direct your inner mind. One technique he suggests is giving your subconscious a task before sleep.
Like programming it.
Sort of. Tell yourself clearly, I will remember this name in the morning, or I need that idea for tomorrow's meeting. Then, and this is key, let go, trust it. He calls it the art of suggestion.
Does this relate to affirmations, like my memory's getting better?
He thought so. He saw positive affirmations as direct instructions to the subconscious. He also noted how intense emotions
burn memories into us, right? Good or bad?
Exactly. Those moments get instantly imprinted. So consciously linking learning with positive emotion can really deepen retention.
He also mentioned needing quiet time.
Yes, daily periods of silence and stillness to help hear the subconscious, to let things process. He warned against constant mental noise from endless stimulation. Sounds familiar, huh?
Yeah. Okay, what else is crucial?
Concentration. He calls this the hidden engine. Without concentration, he says, even the most vivid visualizations, clever associations, and repetitive efforts fall flat.
It underpins everything else.
Completely. It's mental stillness with focused intensity. He calls it the master skill for memory, comparing it to a burning glass focusing sunlight. Without it, your mental energy is just scattered.
And he gives exercises for this too, like the object observation.
Yes, observing an object intently for 5 minutes, or visualizing a simple shape, letter, or number, and just holding it steady in your mind's eye. These build mental grip.
And just noticing when your mind wanders.
And gently bringing it back. That simple act of noticing and returning, done repeatedly, builds the concentration muscle.
So this isn't just about tricks. It's about building fundamental mental skills that apply to daily life.
Absolutely. Atkinson stresses memory improvement is not a one-time effort, but a lifestyle. It requires daily habits.
Like what? What should we be doing every day?
First, conscious observation. Really notice details around you. Use his mind snapshot technique for new names, faces, facts. Be present.
Okay, pay more attention. Got it.
Second, self-quizzing and storytelling. Don't just passively consume information. Summarize it. Ask yourself questions about it. Turn facts into little stories to make them stick. Remember the Apple Pen airplane story.
Yeah, make it active, make it narrative. What else?
Third, maybe try location anchoring the memory palace idea. Link information to places you know well, like rooms in your house, Use spatial memory.
Assigning speech points to different spots in my living room. I can see how that could work.
4th, keep a memory journal. Simple thing. Each evening, just jot down 5 or 10 things you learned or observed that day. Reinforces the day's input.
That sounds manageable.
5th, and this is huge, physical habits. A healthy body supports a strong mind. Regular exercise, good sleep, fresh air, decent nutrition. The brain's an organ, it needs care.
Right, the basics matter.
6th, mental cleanliness. Be mindful of information overload. Try to filter your inputs. Don't just flood your brain with junk.
Easier said than done sometimes. And the last one.
Confidence. You have to believe in your memory. Ditch the negative self-talk, I'm so forgetful. Replace it with affirmations like, my memory is improving every day. Belief shapes reality here.
It really sounds like a holistic approach.
It is, and he stresses it must be enjoyable. Make it a game, don't cram. Short focused sessions are better. Quality over quantity.
So, if we do all this, what's the ultimate payoff? Is it just about remembering shopping lists?
No, it's much bigger than that. For Atkinson, the ultimate goal isn't just remembering facts, it's mastery of the mind itself.
Wow.
A strong memory is the visible sign of a disciplined and focused mind. It's a foundation for so much more.
Your shrinking memory actually trains other things.
Yes. It develops the whole self-attention, willpower, self-image, emotional control, even intuition. He sees it as a fundamental path to personal power.
That's a powerful claim. It requires us to change how we see ourselves, doesn't it?
Definitely. He wants you to erase that limiting belief, that identity of being forgetful. Your true nature, he argues, is mental strength. Stop identifying with the weakness.
And the practical outcome of that shift.
You start being fully present. You become more alert. You notice things others miss. That presence itself creates influence. Your mind becomes more organized. Ideas connect better. Thoughts flow. Creativity increases.
Sounds like moving from mental fog to mental clarity.
Exactly. And the biggest threat to this, he says, it's passive living, mental laziness, constant distraction. The antidote is simple. Engage your mind, train it, challenge it, and respect it.
Okay, let's quickly recap those tools again. What are the essentials?
Right. It's attention, observe fully. Association, link ideas. Visualization, see what you want to remember. Repetition, review intentionally. Suggestion, talk to your subconscious. Concentration, hold your mind steady. And daily training practice with enjoyment.
A strong memory, then, lets you hold on to what matters, makes you a guardian of wisdom.
That's his phrase. For yourself and potentially for others, because you can recall and share effectively.
Okay, let's leave our listeners with this.
Yeah.
Imagine your life, say 6 months from now, a year, 5 years, with a truly trained memory.
Imagine waking up with that mental clarity, speaking confidently without notes, feeling that calm, that power that comes from trusting your own mind.
Atkinson insists this isn't just a fantasy, it's a real attainable outcome.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up, the key message is this. Your memory isn't broken. It's likely just untrained. It needs your focus.
You're not stuck with forgetfulness.
Yeah.
You really can be the architect of your mental capacity. You've got the blueprint now.
You have the tools, the exercises, the approach.
So the real question isn't, can you remember anymore? The question is, will you train? Will you do the practice? Will you become that disciplined thinker?
The one who turns knowledge into confidence, memory into momentum.
Start today. Even small. Practice one technique. Focus for just 5 minutes. Try to recall one new name using association. Visualize one thing you learned. Write down one insight tonight.
And then just repeat it tomorrow.
Memory mastery isn't some giant leap. It's a path. And honestly, just by listening to this, you've taken the first step.
Walk that path with commitment, with belief. And pretty soon you'll look back and realize you've become that person, the person who remembers what they choose to remember.
Not through magic, not luck, but through mastery. This is your mind. This is your power.